Good. In data analytics, we have several tools that we can use for data visualization. We have Power BI, we have Tableau, we have R, we have Python, and some other ones. So Power BI is called Power Business Intelligence. By Microsoft. Microsoft is the vendor. And I want to believe it's as a result of limitation of Microsoft Excel that made them to come up with Power BI. Made them to come up with Power BI because Excel is limited in the volume of data it can access. It can accept for analysis. And then the type of data. Excel can only take CSV file, XLSV file, text files, CSV file, and that. Then you can pull data from database. Then Excel is limited in the volume of the data. Likewise, in the type of data you can use it to analyze. Okay, so this is the course outline, and we'll just be taking all the slides. We'll be taking the theoretical aspect of Power BI today. Then the next class, then we now we dig deep. The installation, the data cleaning, the DAX, the visuals, and what have you. So what we'll be doing basically today is just the theoretical aspect of it. Okay, so the course outline, analyzing data with self-service BI, that's business intelligence. So when you see BI, you know it is business intelligence. Then connecting to data sources. You have several types of data sources: CSV, XLSX, CSV, connecting to data from the database, different types of databases, and from the web, from the cloud, and all of that. Then performing data cleaning, profiling and shaping, that's transformation. Then visualizing data with Power BI, whereby you create your visuals, your charts. Then enhancing data analysis, then modeling data with calculations, that's a DAX, data analysis expression. That's another language that we work with in Power BI. And we have a creating interactive visualization. That's when you bring all your visuals together, you use slides on all of them, and you make all of them to be interactive. So now the first topic, analyzing Power BI, analyzing data with self-service BI. That's data analysis and visualization for business intelligence, and self-service BI with Microsoft Power BI. So the first topic, so we talked about, we are going to be discussing BI. What is BI? What can you do with BI and all of that? So BI, which is business intelligence, it's an approach and application of technology used by organizations of all sizes to analyze data and gain insight and information that can aid in making well-informed business decisions. It's a tool, it's a software tool that we can use to analyze data and gain insights. Likewise, the way we use our Excel to analyze data So this is an upgraded version of Excel. So organization makes use of this to analyze data and to gain insight, to help them in making well-informed decisions, to help them to help their performance, to help them in working on their profits and all of that. So those are the things we are going to be talking on. So BI can identify new opportunities, new markets, or audiences to target based on the data sets given to us or given to you by your clients. You can use BI to analyze your data and to get new opportunities, new markets, the target audience, because there may be a time that one is focusing on wrong set of people. And based on the analysis on your data sets, it can tell you, instead of you focusing on the aged, why don't you focus on the youth? Look at the analysis from your data sets. It's the youth. You have larger number of between these age brackets that are patronizing you. So focus on them. Then it provides competitive advantages, provide information to support a stable course of growth for the business. Okay, so if you look at this the diagram, we have combined internal data with external data sources for more powerful insights. So the one within the circle is telling us the data sources, and the tool within it's Power BI. Then when you use Power BI, when you analyze the data, it's going to give you powerful insights. Now, coming to data analysis, it's a process that enables you to find patterns, evaluate cause and effects, and make estimations from data. Usually the application of a logic-based approach, such as statistical analysis. Data analysis is a process. Helps you to find the pattern. You know, when we do our charts, it's always follow a particular trend. We know that whether we are making profits or we are not making profits, whether a particular set of people is our profitable clients. So it makes us it enables us to find the patterns where the direction of this profit is going to. So analyzing and mining large amount of data, combining and correlating large amounts of data, both corporate data, local private data, and data from the cloud or online services or soft sources. Evaluating performance of processes, performing benchmarking, creating data models, surfacing trends or insights about processes or business activities, the cost, the sales, the profit, the discounts, and all of that. Then creating reports and dashboards. So that's the main thing. That's the main thing. It's from there you are going to get all those insights, and you create your reports, because some people don't like, some people they have phobia for numbers, for figures. They don't like seeing figures, get them scared. So what they do is, once you finish the analysis, create reports, and just create reports and dashboard, then give it to them. Then they can now see it that way. So data visualization. What is data visualization? This is the act of using visual elements such as charts, graphs, maps, and other illustrations to analyze data, to find patterns in data, and to report insights gleaned from data. So it's an act of using visual elements such as chart. If you look at this diagram, there are different charts. There are different charts. We have the line charts, we have table, we have this is another chart. So you have lots of them, diverse. We have a lot of them. Graphs, charts, maps, line charts, scattered plots, and all of that. So tree maps, funnel, there's so many. So those are the ones we'll be dealing with in Power BI. Then self-service BI. It's an approach that empowers people in many different roles to perform data analysis and discover insights by using BI tools. Without self-service BI, all requests went to trained data slow response time for analysis, reporting, consumption, and decision making. That is, if you do not do self-service, that means you have to wait. You have to wait. All your requests will go to trained data analysts. It will go to statisticians. So, and if you don't have quite a number of them, we have to wait till they give us the report. You know how long that will take. Not long that will take. If you have to wait, and we have limited number of trained data analysts to do all of this stuff for us. But with self-service BI, tools such as Microsoft Power BI empowers user in any job role to collect, review, or touches data to perform self-service BI analysis. Users can connect to data to sort and filter information, perform analysis, and create and share visualizations. So people don't need help from or coordination with trained data analysts or the IT department. You know, some of our IT guys, they always do us shakara when you go meet them for help. When you go meet them for help.
Yes, you are correct, sir.
I'm speaking your mind.
You say 1 second, please. 1 second.
1 second, I'm coming.
Wait, I will get tired.
And before you know it, they just keep you there. Okay. So organizations can find insight faster as people in more job roles explore and analyze data. And truly, if you can find your way within Power BI, it's very easy to use. You don't have to know everything about it. The aspect that you need to make use of, once you know it, then you can always analyze the data. So Power BI, a Microsoft tool for creating data-based visualizations and performing data analysis. With Power BI, you connect to variety of data sources, you transform and model data for analysis, you drag and drop canvas for creating visualization. Then you have ability to create reports and dashboard. So this is the summary of what we are going to be doing, what we are going to be working on, what we are going to be learning in Power BI. So if you look at this interface, that's the interface of Power BI. So now we have types of Power BI. We have Microsoft Power BI Desktop. We have Microsoft Power BI Pro. We have we have SQL Server Analysis Services. We have Power BI Mobile, Power BI Embedded, Power BI Gateway, and Power BI Report Server. So the next slide is going to tell us, it's going to shed more light on each and every one of these types of Power BI. Okay. So which one is this? Okay. Power BI licensing and capabilities. We have some license type. Data analysis tasks that connect to data is free. The license is free. To clean data and transform data is free. Create reports, create dashboards, all these ones, they are free. But collaborate on reports and dashboards is pro. You have to buy the license. To share reports and dashboards via email or link, you have to buy the license. Then create and share apps. You have to buy the license. Excuse me. Then we are now the how do I put the difference between the two of them? Microsoft Power BI can connect to 80 plus types of data sources. 80 plus, more than 80 different types of data sources. While Excel, we only capture and store data. Microsoft Power BI creates a variety of visualizations for data analysis and exploration. It can combine data from different sources to create complex visualizations. It can filter data from different sources and visualizations. It can run calculations on data from different sources. It can store and share configuration information. It can support one-to-one relationships, that's data modeling. Then it can offer a natural language question box. That's another powerful feature in Microsoft Power BI. Then Microsoft Excel can capture and store data. It shows data in spreadsheets. Shows data in spreadsheets. Then format in tables of rows and columns. It stores data in cells, which can be manipulated through formulas. That's the only way you can manipulate data in Excel, formulas and functions. Then you can create visualizations such as charts, graphs, and pivot table, using pivot table to do all of that. So you can see that Excel is limited, very limited. Then guidelines for visualizing data with self-service BI tools. Select a data visualization tool that can connect to data sources used by your organization. Each organization have their data sources that they use. So select Power BI Desktop when you need to connect to data and create visualizations. So when you need to connect to data, I need to create visualizations, you make use of Power BI Desktop. Then when you need to share visualizations, such as reports and dashboard, you make use of Power BI Pro. When you need to have access to data and visualizations on the go, so you do make use of Power BI Mobile. When you need to securely publish and share reports on premises, you make use of Power BI Server. So you make use of Microsoft Excel when you need to capture and store data in cross-tab formats. That's the only time you make use of Microsoft Excel. So activity, visualizing data with self-service BI tools. Now, common self-service BI tools, BI tasks, that are common self-service business intelligence tasks. Connect to data sources that have data that needs to be analyzed. Transform data in preparation for visualization. possibly combine multiple data sources to create complex visualizations. Explore data to find patterns, trends, and insights. Perform data analysis to answer business questions with data insights. Create pages with visualizations and develop reports and dashboards. Store reports, dashboards, and share with team members. Store related reports and dashboards in workspaces. Now, the image below is trying to tell us, giving us the summary or the diagrammatic representation of what I just read to us. We connect to data, we transform and combine data. The transformation means data cleaning. Can we still remember data cleaning? The data cleaning we had in Excel.
Yes,
so transform and combine data has to do with data cleaning or data cleansing. So explore and analyze data. So that's where you answer business questions. That's where you create your visualizations. That's where you create your reports and dashboards. Then from there, you can share your reports. You can store your reports. So this is the Power BI user interface element. This is the interface element. So when we install our Power BI, we see how it looks like. So this is the environment. This is the canvas. That white space is the canvas, filter panes, visualization pane, then fields pane. So we have a larger canvas, the collapse panes. The collapse panes, and that's when you expand it. And now we have, this is data view page. We have 3 pages in no, I won't say 3 pages, like 3 different views in Power BI. We have report view. That's where you have your visuals. That's where you're going to create your visuals. Then we have data view. We have data view. That's where you're going to view your data in tables. Then we have model view. That's where you're going to check relationship, the relationship that exists within your tables, the tables you are working with. So we have report view, we have data view, and we have the model view. So data set. Data set, it's a collection of information from one or more data sources used to create a Power BI report or dashboard. That is the collection of information, the collection of all the data from different data sources that you want to use to create a report or dashboard. So over data sources, we can have it in files, app data, databases, and what have you. So not limited to a single workspace, report, or dashboard. So we can have data set tab lists, all sources in workspace. After adding a data set, you can refresh, rename, explore, or remove it. When you had data set, when you had another data set to you can refresh it to take space, to take effect, to update what you've done. So you can rename it and you can remove it after you've made use of it. Then reports and pages. Your report can have multiple pages. It's not necessary that it has to be one page. Can have multiple pages. Likewise, the way our Excel, we can have several sheets in Excel. We can have multiple pages in our reports when we're preparing our reports in Power BI. So we can see the page indicators, we can see the page tabs. So when you create your page, it's going to give it a default name, page 1, page 2, page 3, page 4. Then you can rename it. You can rename it after your report. You can see the first tab says relationships. That means that page was used for relationship. Then the second one says sales by region and category. The report on that page was on sales by region and category. Then the next one, establishment data. So you can name your pages based on the report, based on the report. Then we have reading versus editing reports. Reading mode. User can view reports. Users can view report visuals and dashboards and adjust any elements designed to be interactive. This is default mode when you open a report. When you open a report, it's in a reading mode. So you cannot adjust, you cannot do anything. You can only view it. You can only view it. But editing mode, users can design, you can build, you can explore, and you can share reports. That's the editing mode report. The report creators, owners, co-owners, and anyone granted those permissions can access editing mode for a report and edit the report. Users can edit, can build, can explore, can share reports, and every other person given access to that report can also co-join and edit and help in working on the report. So this is the canvas. We have our selected visualization. Then this is the visual header, a transparent bar associated with the report visual that enables you to work with the visual. So when we start the practical, we see all this. Then we have the action and the description, view filters and slicers. Select the filter list icon to see the filters and slices applied to the visual. Activate focus mode. Select the focus mode icon to expand the visual for easier reading. To return to full canvas, select back to report. This activates focus mode. It's like when you view something in a browser and you want to maximize it, you want to expand it so that you can see it, clearly. So you want to expand it. So that's what activates focus mode is all about. Then export data. Export the visual and data from which it is generated. So you can export data and the visual from which it is generated. Show data in table format. That is, you can expand the visual and show the data from which it is created. So you can actually expand it so that you can see the data and the table, especially when we make use of another visual, but want to see it in a tabular form, then it's going to show it to us. Remove. So that means this is as good as you are making use of delete. Remove the visual from the canvas. Spotlight. Highlight the currently selected visual and fade out other visuals. So if you have a lot of visual, then you can actually pick one out. You can highlight, you can spot it out and like, okay, I want to see this. So that's it. Currently, you highlight currently selected visual and fade out other visuals. Sort descending and ascending the same way we sort in Excel, the same way, sorting, descending and ascending order. Then we can also sort by a particular field. Maybe you want to sort using the salary, or you want to sort using the country, or you want to sort using the age. Now we have feature previews. Feature previews show upcoming improvements to Power BI. Must be enabled to use. So all these preview features, we have to enable them. The one that is particular to our region, to our locale. So we have to check them. Then enable from different areas, reports and dashboards, the options, dialog box, in some cases by a Power BI administrator. So when we start, I'm going to make some changes around here. So guidelines for performing self-service BI with Power BI. Self-service BI with Power BI. Become familiar with the Power BI UI so that you can take full advantage of the features by knowing how to locate them. So you get yourself familiar with the environment, with the user interface of the Power BI, so that you won't have to be roaming about when you want to pick a particular visual. You know where it is and you know where to locate anything that you want to pick within the environment. Consider using the data view and model view to understand the data, behind the visualizations. So when you are using the data view, you see the data that you use to create your visual. Then when you check the model view, you see the relationship that exists between your data. Remember that you can have more than one data source in your data set. You can have more than one data set. You can have more than one data source in your data set. Use editing mode to change reports, and reading mode if you just want to view reports. When you are viewing a report, use the icons on the visual headers to work with any visuals in the report. We see all of this. So consider keeping current with the feature previews to explore additional functionality in Power BI. Okay. Okay, don't worry. I don't want to bother us with this question. Maybe after we've installed our Power BI and we've worked with it, then we can answer these questions. I may have to send these questions back to the group. So list some types of data you want to visualize at your workplace. What type of self-service BI opportunities exist in your organization? If you have not worked with Power BI before, you may not be able to attempt these questions. Okay, so let me take us to the second topic, which is connecting to data sources. Connecting to data sources. Okay. Create data connections. Configure and manage data relationships. Save files in Power BI. So these are the three topics we'll be dealing with under connecting to data sources. Now, these are all connection options that we have in Power BI. We have Excel, text/CSV, XML, that's extensible markup language, JSON, JavaScript, objects, notation. Then we have folder, we have PDF, SharePoint folder, SQL Server database, Access database, SQL Server analysis services database, Oracle, IBM, NetSar, MySQL, Postgres. There are so many. There are so many. So these are part of connection options.
Naughty America. No.
Then we have storage modes. We have storage modes. Storage mode, a configuration parameter that enables a Power BI user to specify whether or not loaded data is cached in memory. It's a configuration parameter that enables Power BI user to specify whether or not loaded data is cached in memory. You have import mode, direct query mode, live connect mode, and push mode. Now we have the navigator. Navigator between your data sources. We have, now this is the data source. That's my footprint spots. That's a data source. So within that data source, we have different tables. One is orders, the other one is sales reps. Then we can see our data preview. If you click any of the tables, it's going to display what you have inside that table. Then file data connections. You have Excel, you have text/CSV, XML, JSON, folder, PDF, SharePoint folder. So these are all file data connections. Then we have multiple file imports. We can bring in multiple file. And how do we do that? You click Home, Get Data, then the folder that contains all your records, all the data sets that you want to work with. You can select that folder and it's going to pull all of them in. Like from the example, you can see that we have 3 files, three data sets in a folder. So the folder contains, we have MFS 2020 footprint spots. You have one in Excel and we have one in Power BI extension. So when you save in Power BI, it gives you an extension of .pbix. Then database connections. We have file connections, we have database connections. So these are all the database connections that we have: SQL Server, Access database, Oracle, MySQL, Sybase, IBM, and what have you. So you can either import the data or, depending on database, you can select either direct query or live connect mode to connect to the database. It depending on the database. So you can perform all this when you want to connect to your database. Then we have online services. Power BI can connect to online services such as Salesforce, Marketo, GitHub, and others. So apps or content packs often come with service connection. So these are all the online services: the SharePoint, Microsoft Exchange, Dynamics, Azure, Google Analytics, Salesforce. So these are all online services that we can connect our Power BI to pull the records or the data they want to analyze. Now we have the Common Data Service, a part of Microsoft Power Platform that uses entities and record types to store data in Azure Cloud. Data refresh in Power BI Desktop. Imported data sets are static. You must refresh them to stay up to date. That is where you pull your record from, where you pull your data set from. The data might have been updated. So for your reports and for your analysis in Microsoft Power BI to stay up to date, you have to refresh. You have to refresh so that you won't be working maybe start from 2020, maybe from 2020 to 20, maybe from 1995 to 2020, and they've updated it. 2021 and 2022 records have been added. So for those records, for those newly added records to reflect on your analysis, while you connect them to your Power BI desktop. So you need to refresh it so that your report can stay up to date. So query performance issues, hardware characteristics, more processing speed and installed memory than minimum system requirements. Help Power BI process queries more rapidly. Like we all know, depending on the capacity of your machine, of your laptop, it can help to process your queries more rapidly. Then the storage mode, queries on imported data perform significantly faster than queries on direct query or live connect data, because the data and queries are all cached locally. Then file type, flat files such as CSV files tend to be fastest, whereas complex relational databases from Access or other database management programs tend to be significantly slower. The CSV files, they tend to be the fastest because of the weight and because you are connected to them directly from your system. You don't have to query them. You don't have to connect to another third-party tool to bring it into your Power BI. So guidelines for selecting data sources. This is very important. Choose files that contain relevant data. Limit the data you import to what you need to visualize. For multiple file imports, make sure that the files reside in the same folder and have the same structure, including matching column names. For smaller data sets under 1 gig, consider using import mode to take advantage of all Power BI functionality and performance. Creating data connections. Now, relationships. In a database, a description of how data in one table is related to another, to data in another page. That's what relationship is all about. So that model view is going to be talking about relationship. It's going to be talking about how related data in one table is to another data in another table. So the relationship that exists between data in different tables. So data modeling with relationship. Relationship define data structure. Relationship define data structure. So Power BI identifies existing relationships and enables you to change them or add to new ones. So the moment you bring in your data, Power BI identifies existing relationships, and it can help you to change them either to one-to-one, one-on-one, or one-to-many, or many-to-one, or many-to-many. So Power BI understands all those relationships, whether the existing one, or you want to create another one, or you want to change the existing ones. Now we have star schema approach. A star schema approach is a relational data model. It's a relational data model approach that requires both dimension and fact tables that resembles a star. Dimension table, a table in a star schema that stores fact table. A fact table is in a star schema that stores observations and events. It stores observations and events related to dimensions. So in Power BI, query filter, group, and summarize data. It queries the filter, it group, and summarize the data. That's dimension table support filtering and grouping. So designation of a table as dimension or fact is determined by the model relationship. It's determined by the model relationship. So the first one is cardinality property, determines the data type. That is, cardinality is often one to many or many to one. So the one side is always a dimension type table, and many side is always a fact type table. Now the model view. Use the model view to see graphically how data contained in a data set or used in a report is currently related. Create a new relationships, change the type of relationship between two objects, or remove relationships. Now we can see that the orders table and my footprint spots, they are connected. We can see the line. That line shows that there is a relationship between the two of them. Then relationship management. In model view, drag fields from one data box to another to establish a relationship. So when we want to manage relationship, this is where we come to. This is where we come to. We can create it, we can delete it, we can edit it, we can change it here. This is the environment that we manage the relationship that exists between data, between tables. Now, relationship auto detection. Power BI can detect and recreate existing relationships in data. It can easily detect it, and Power BI can auto detect potential relationships. That is, the moment you import your data, Power BI can auto detect it and see that, okay, there's a relationship between two records. Now we have tables. You can create tables from within Power BI desktop. Like we can create table in our Excel. you can create a new sheet and you start to key in your data yourself. You can do the same thing in Power BI. Now, table and column properties. You have table properties, which is name and columns. Then column properties. You have the name of the column, you have the data type, you have the format, you have data category and summarization. Good. No, now cardinality, a description of how data in one place, that such as a table, is related to data in another place. That is the description of how they are related. How they are related. We have one-to-one, we have one-to-many, many-to-one, and many-to-many. One-to-one, exactly one row of one table is associated with exactly one row in the related table. One-to-many, for each unique row of data in the first table, there are many rows of data in the second table. The many-to-one, for each row of data in second table, there are many rows of data in the first table. So we have many-to-many. This is supported only in composite models, direct query and import, then direct query and direct query. Cross-filter direction. The relationship property that determines what data is in a related table is available to and shown in visuals when you select data in another related table. So this is cross-filter direction. Useful for lookups, single limits what you can see in the model and reports. Row level security, restrict access to sensitive data, create rows and filters available for imported data and direct query. So we need to restrict access to sensitive data when we create a report in Power BI. Relationship editing. You can edit relationship in this environment from many-to-one to a single, that is cross-filter direction. So you can edit it many-to-one, one-to-one, one-to-many. So we can always do that. We can change it, we can create it. So configuring and managing data relationships. That's okay. Now, Power BI file types. When you save file in Power BI, it gives you an extension of .pbix. That's one thing. It gives you the extension for a template, .pbit. That's for a template. Power BI extension is .pbix, but for the template is .pbic. Okay, then we have save locations. You can save directly on your local machine. Then you can save on OneDrive. You can save on OneDrive. Any Windows machine has OneDrive. So you can save on OneDrive for business or for personal. Then you can save on SharePoint team sites. You can save directly there. Then we have this auto recovery configuration. Auto recovery configuration. So store the moment we set this. Remember we set this during the installation. So it auto recovery stores auto recover every info, as in at every 10 minutes, it auto recover information. And it will always be, it will keep showing us, to always show us the path, the file location. Likewise, the same thing that happens in Excel. Probably there's a power outage while we're working in Excel or in Word. You're meant to put it on, then it's going to show you the path for your document or for your file that was automatically recovered. Okay, saving files in Excel, in Power BI. So, okay, that's for the activity. So what types of data sources will you connect Power BI to in your organization? What types of relationships might you use when modeling your data and where? So all of this, we talk about it when we start the practical, so that you can have a better understanding of all of this. So the next one, let me quickly rush through the next one so that I can take questions. Yeah, this is the big shot. Performing data cleaning, profiling, and shaping. Clean, transform, and load data with the query editor. Profile data with query editor, shape data with query editor, combine and merge data rows. So these are the major things that we do.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
Sorry, I came late. I'm just joining.
No problem, no problem.
Yeah.
All right, thank you. So as a data analyst, these are the basic tasks that I'll be performing. You clean your data, you transform, and you shape it. Look at the image. We turn the first data into the second one. That is the customer name. You made it first name and last name. Then the address. You turn it into street, the city, and the state. Then the zip code, referral, subscribe, and then purchase. So from how many columns? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we've cleaned it, we've transformed it, and we shaped it. So benefits of preparing. Let me increase this. Benefits of preparing data. Remove unwanted or unneeded tables and subtables, hierarchical headers, page headers, and footers. Remove unwanted or unneeded rows and columns. Convert values to more user-friendly information. Result in a data set that is focused on the purpose for which it's intended. So these are the benefits of preparing our data. That is, when you clean your data, you do all this. We remove unwanted tables, unwanted subtables, unwanted rows and columns, and we convert values to more user-friendly information. Now, this is our Power BI query editor. It's our Power BI query editor. So before you transform your data, when you want to transform your data, this is where you are going to make use. This is the environment. You are going to transform your data. You are going to clean it. You do all of that in your Power BI query editor. Now, this is a query editor center pane. This is a query editor center pane. We see all this live and direct when we start the practical in our next class. We see all of this. Now, when you must have done your data cleaning, you've cleaned your data, you've transformed your data, you've shaped your data, you need to do one thing for all those changes to take place. You need to do options for applying and saving changes. So apply changes, you click under Home tab, you click close and apply. Close and apply. If you do not click close and apply, all the changes that you've made will not take effect. It's not going to be affected. Then when you want to save changes after you worked on your Power BI, click save or file save as. If you have not saved it before, you click save as. If you have saved it before, you click save. If you save without applying changes, the query editor saves the steps, but the data set is unchanged. If you apply changes and then save, the query editor saves the updated data set and the steps. And the default format, the default file format is PBIX. Now the rollback. We have rollback, we have change rollback in the query editor. Delete unneeded steps. Work from bottom up to roll back in sequence. While we are making changes in a query, it's nothing like I want to undo, I want to do Control Z. No, you can't do that. But query editor helps us to save the applied steps. So you can delete unneeded steps. You can delete them one by one, then that will take you back. That's what is going to do what we call undo. But because we don't have Control Z, doesn't work in this environment. So what you just need to do is just to delete unneeded steps. Okay. Now the query editor, this is the environment. You have the query editor tab, you have close and apply, new source, Azure machine learning, and all of that. We see all of this. This is the editor, query editor, home tab. Then column splits and merges. We can split text to move data from one column to multiple columns for better analysis. This is taking this is like in Excel we have text to column in Excel. So this guy too does similar thing. It can split columns, it can merge columns. So we see all of that. Then we have data type transformation. That is, change the data type, change the type of data in a column to perform the analysis you need. You can change from one data type to another. Reasons to change data types: convert numeric dates to a date field. That is, at times in Excel converts the date field except we specify. Some of the data set that we pull from Excel will put them in a numeric date. But Power BI, we see them as numbers. Then we need to convert them. We need to change it to dates, to proper dates in Power BI. Likewise, some other data types. Okay, we see all of that working in play, as in come to play when you start the practical. Then data loading. When data is cleaned and shaped, load it into the data model by applying the changes. messages and errors are displayed in the apply query changes box. You see this small box, that's apply query changes. So if there's going to be any error after you finished cleaning your data and you click load, by the time it's loading, it's going to apply the query changes, then the error will be displayed here. If there's an error, it's going to be displayed here, and we can quickly tackle that. Data import error. You will receive data import error even after cleaning and transforming your data. When you import your data, we clean it and all of that. If you have data import error, it's going to display it. So it's imperative that you resolve these errors before attempting to analyze the data. So common data import error. Access database engine is not installed, or the version is incompatible with Power BI. So these are the common data import errors. So Power BI can't find the original data source. Probably when you pull the data, the original source, probably something happened. So we need to check the data source settings. Then Power BI Desktop encounters error in data outside the preview data set. So by default, only subset of the data set is loaded into query editor. It's not all the data set that is loaded. So we see all this when we start the practical. So guidelines for naming queries and query components. Consider using terms, acronyms, and abbreviations that are already part of your organization language to ensure that everyone understands the terminology you are using. When you want to do your report, the naming queries or the naming conventions has to be what everybody is familiar with. Not that you just give them acronyms that they'll be asking you questions. What's this? Or you use terms that they are not used to. So when you are gathering data for sources, from sources, where table names often are prefixed with TBL or some other object or some other object identifier, consider removing the identifier text for clarity. A lot of people may not know that TBL is table. So you need to adjust all that. So consider making replacements that are neither too short to be easily understood, nor too long to fit gracefully in visualization. Okay, activity, okay. So data profiling in Power BI. This is the process of examining the data from a data source to collect statistics or informative summaries about the data. Can existing data be used for other purpose? Can I tag data with keywords? So these are all the questions that we ask when we are doing data profiling. How is the data quality? What risks are involved in integrating data? How my table joins affect this? So these are all the questions we discussed, we talked about during data profiling. Now, data structure. This is when you want to transform your data. We have this is the pane. We have data model. This is a data model. Then from there, you can transform your data. So we can open this, open model in query editor. Then you can manage relationship. So the manage relationship from your query editor. So you can see all of that. Now, data statistics. Data statistics. So quality and statistics overview for all columns. All columns. So we can see all of this from our column property panes. Data anomalies. Anomalies, events or data points that unexpectedly fall outside the range of data sets accepted range of behavior. So the events or data points that unexpectedly fall outside the range of data sets accepted range of behavior. So this can also refer to as outliers. Use query editor column distribution feature to view them. So we can use query editor column distribution feature to view all the outliers or to view the anomalies. So this can affect statistics and skew analysis conclusions. So this can affect our, especially outliers can affect our analysis at the end of the day if proper care is not taken. The column profile pane. This displays different information from different column types. Text columns, whole number columns. So this display different information depending on the type of column, depending on the column types. So it's going to display information about them. Now, the advanced editor. The advanced editor. What you see here is called M language. That's the language of Power BI. That's the language of Power BI. Don't worry, you are not the one to write this. This will be generated for you. Now, Power Query, it is M language. That's AKA M language. It is case-sensitive data mashup language. So the M is mashup language. M language is mashup language. So it is used by Power BI, Excel Power Query, and Excel get and transform data. M statements contain functions, variables, expressions, and primitive and structured values. It creates a formula with logic to transform data as defined in the query editor. So each step is a variable assignment that is resolved by taking actions on the data. So all of this, by the time we start, you see, I'm going to show you parts that generate the M language as you are working in your Power BI. So these are all the advanced query example that is being generated while working on Power BI. So query editor add column tab. Ribbon. So this is the column tab, add column tab in the query editor. So custom and calculated columns, we work on all this. Now, we can transform, this is query editor transform tab. These are all the stuff that we have there. We have table, we have any column, text column, number column, date and time column, structured column, then the scripts where you run your R scripts and where you run your Python. Then we have table transformation options. Group data, use first row as headers, transpose, reverse rows, count rows. Then this is data grouping, where you group your data by using basic or by or use advanced. Then pivot columns turns names and value rows into columns. You can also on pivot to turn columns into rows of names and values. That is, if you look at what we have here, we have quarter, we have small widgets, big widgets, super widgets. Now, they converted this from 4 columns, 1, 2, 3, 4 to 3 columns, so that we have products, small widgets, small widgets, small widgets. Then we have the quarters. Then we have the sales, instead of having 4 columns. Don't worry, I will show us how to pivot columns and unpivot columns when we get there. So text data extraction, extract data from text columns. Similar things that we did in Excel, when you have it from text to columns. When you have it from text column, it's similar thing. So select, transform, and extract and specify one of the following: length, first characters, last characters, range, text before delimiter, text after delimiter, text between delimiter, and what have you. So we can data transposition. We can transpose our data. Transposition means converting the rows to columns, or columns to row within an entire table. So this facilitates trend analysis over time. Then we have web data sources. Web data sources. We can pull our data directly from the web. We can pull our data directly from the web. So I will show us how to do all of that. Our data from the web. So we've come to the end of this. Do we have any question, please? Any question? Okay, probably because we've not started the practical. Hello?